Am I audible enough? Nice, nice. Okay, so let us begin.
Okay, Tesla, is that the crash?
Let us begin the session. Now, in the morning, we are talking just about testing. I told you it's not a big deal, but let us take a look at what I created. Um, let's take a look at what I created. The session is not going to be longer because I just want to show you a few things regarding software like testing. Somebody resend the link for those who are joining. The link is there above. Resend. It's on WhatsApp as well. No, we have a backend, we have a front end. As you can see, the backend has controllers, middlewares, models, it has routes, the usual thing that we normally have. It has the usual things that we normally have. So just go through it. We'll be going through it whenever we want to. On the front end side as well, we have the components, the context pages. We have the services where our backend meets the front end. As you can see, we have been doing this for a while now. You should be aware of that. And where we converge everything together. So it's a library management system. Let me just fire it up. So we're using concurrency. So they are running concurrently. So you just need to run one command, npm run them. It's going to fire up backend and frontend at a go. So all of that, it is possible because of here. This way I've declared the concurrency. You can see they're running concurrently. Just one terminal and they both run. So come here and say localhost port 2173. There you are. Let's take a look at our database. Let us first of all prove that this application works before anything else. Before anything else. So we have a couple of users. Let me remove this. Hold on. So later on, you're going to be creating your own user admin and everything. So for now, I have mine here, user admin. I have, let me delete which one? This one. This is user library. And then I have my own user here. So let me delete my own user that I was using to test and also delete this. Let us see, first of all, how the application works. And then from there, we'll see what to do next. So let me delete this. They are just testing phases. Now, let me create a user. Uh, let's have that. No, I have a password. Of course, it's visible. You're creating a user. After creating, you're in immediately. So when you go back to the database, you can check the user when refreshing here. There you are. We have the user there, as you can see. Now we can check our profile. We can edit our profile as we want. The default user is the user that I indicated here. Let me just show you where. Keep sharing the repo for those who don't have access to that. So when you go back to the models, this is where we have defaulted the user. The role user is the default. And I've done everything how we normally do it, except vertically, not horizontally. Doesn't change anything, by the way. Everything. So when you come here, we can search for a book. If you're a user, you search for a book. You can check your dashboard for anything. So let us log in as admin. I already have an admin here. This is just for demo account. But if you want to make a particular user admin, when you log in with that particular user, you can just come and change the role here. In future, there are so many ways of automating an admin side in the cloud services. But right now, you're not dealing with cloud services. So let us just log in with the user that we know. So admin 123. So when you log in here, you can see the number of users that we have. Exactly how it is in the database. You can see we have the latest one, which is just now. We have this one, regular user, admin, exactly how it is in the database. And they're all denoted. You can check the transaction, no transaction done. Also, the admin has their profile. The admin has the power of creating a book. You can check the dashboard as well. So let us create a book because it's a library. Call this one Game of Thrones. Now is it not typing? All done. Okay. Hold on. I don't know what's wrong with my keyboard. For those who are in Nakuru, we are almost having coffee and code coming soon in Kabarak. Okay, let me see. Don't know what's wrong with my keyboard. Somebody's waiting. Waiting for what? Oh, waiting. It's all about what we call um, state hooks. They're not persistent to. Well, the coffee and code is coming on 18th. Some of you will see me there. Uh, yeah, I know exactly the issue is. So we have an issue here in book.jsx. Let me find it. I was not here to fix the problems. I was just here to come and see how we can go to see. We have an issue with the backdrop. I guess so. Where's that function for adding a book? Here it is. So the issue basically, the backdrop click handler was interfering with the input focus. So you're not able to focus with the input. Another one is that the form state was not able to reset back. But I can see everything is okay. I'm having my background AI fix that issue because I want to run faster. It's trying to fix. It has the show model. So if you go back, it's trying to fix as I talk to you. The problem is gone. Okay. Not yet gone though, but still fixated in the same input. Let's close it, refresh. We have another issue. Check. Coffee and code is coming up. Let's see. Mhm. Somebody's wondering, 900 lines of code. Okay, it's just because my prettier is trying to put them in vertical, not in what we call horizontal, but that's okay. So when you go back to the add book model, there it is. We're adding a few things. So the issue is autofocus. It is not able to autofocus. That is what I'm learning now. I have a system running on the background to try to clear that bug. I hear it is done. Let us see. Let me refresh. Let us look again. Any error? Okay, I don't know what is wrong, but I'm going to fix that shortly. Oh, the key down is there. This means that I'm supposed to, and the moment I'm putting something, trying to type something, it should allow me to add the book. Instead, it's doing the input title reference. When you go back to the form, so let us focus on this. Every time I try to input something, it takes me back here, instead of proceeding with what we have. Okay, okay. So, the add book model. Okay, let it fix as we continue now. Um, what I was to take you through, I just wrote it in a document here. We want to create a couple of files from the setup. We have setup for the tests, authentication, book, transaction. This is what I had initially, but okay, I'm going to take you through regardless, but I don't want to do a lot of files because there are too many. I actually have the codes here. We are going to be using all of this, except there are some dependencies that we're not going to be using because we are not dealing with TypeScript. If you are dealing with TypeScript, we'll be dealing with just somebody saying, can you manual copy the whole code to ChatGPT? Well, here's the thing. My head doesn't always go there. So I have background agents that normally run my commands, some commands here and there, to make sure that everything works. Okay, I just had the sound, so let us see. Okay, but it's not. When you go back to the terminal, let's change the browser and see. Admin 123. Let's try it in a different browser. Somebody's laughing at me. Okay, let us proceed with what we were talking about before. Let me just explain what is happening before that error resolves. Now the backend has the controllers. We understand how the controllers are, and we have public and private routes, as we know. And here we're describing that having just comments telling us exactly what is happening. So we have the register. We already know what is happening here. The goal is to register the user. You see, the goal is to register the user. But as well, we are generating the token from the middleware directly. So we have the auth middleware, which has the protect and the admin and generate token. So it comes with three things. We're able to generate to protect a route. So you can see we have been talking about this a lot. If the token is not valid, we just give not authorized, no token. Then we verify the token by decoding it. Then we get the user info from the token exactly. And then for this one, I didn't tell you the first place. I didn't inform you how it works. We proceed and have, if the user is not there, we just say not authorized, user not found. If the user is not there, if the user is not active, basically, we just say account is deactivated. It's a middleware, so we keep next, then we proceed and have the catch block. As you can see, they are up to the try catch. So we come for the admin. For the admin, same case, it's very simple. If you have a user and the user doesn't have a role of admin, that's not a user, we proceed and say, no, like what you're saying here, user, and that user is an admin. So we have a strict equality here saying that is admin. Then we proceed and say if it's otherwise not authorized, this is where I put an expiry of 30 days. But here I said 7 days. So let me just change it to 30 days. Well, similarities. Now we have the auth controller, the book controller. So the auth controller has a couple of functions: register, we have login, we have get me, like your own profile. This is how we get your own profile. For the book, we perform the CRUD operation, get book. This is getting particular book. This is getting all the books. And then we have to create a particular book, to update a particular book, to delete a book, to search a particular book. This is very important because we are using an operator called OR, and then we have the transaction. So transaction basically is the exchange between the user and the admin. The admin creates a book, the user requests for the book in the library, and the admin is going to approve or reject or put it in pending. So this is how we perform the transaction. So this one is getting all the transaction, the admin or the user's own transaction. This is getting the transaction, a single particular transaction that you're dealing with, then requesting a book to be issued. And then we have updating the transaction status. So we have pending, we have approved, and we have rejected. And then we can be able to return a book if we want to. We can complete the return. So this complete the return, as you can see, is admin only. That says that, okay, the book is being returned, so he confirms. We can delete that transaction if we want to. Then for the user controller, like particular, not to be confused with the auth controller, you can get your profile, update your own profile, get your transactions, get users. So this is for admin only. And if you want to see if it is for admin only, we are protecting it. We are going to see how to protect these routes. And then we can get that particular user, a single user. Admin has data capability. So a lot of things admin has capabilities. So when you go to the routes, this is where you're going to see a lot that is happening. For example, you can see right here, we're importing from the middleware, which is protect and admin. For the profile, the user profile, it is a protected route. It's not admin route. But when you go to the transaction, that is a protected route, which means you have to log in. To get all the statistics, you have to be logged in and you have to be an admin. Same case for the dashboard statistics. For all the routes, like who can access everything? Who can access all the users? that is an admin, and you have to be authenticated to be an admin. Same case for others. So this is how you do protection. Same case applies for the transaction routes. As you can see, we have admin to be able to delete the transaction. For the book routes, we have for you to create a book, only the admin. So this interface for creating a book, if I remove this admin, you're going to be seeing that on the normal user. The normal user can create a book if this admin is not here. So unless you're an admin, you have the credentials of an admin, you can be able to get in. Don't know what people are saying. Thank you, Sam. I got you. Is this? Yeah, that is the report that I'm running right now currently. Don't worry about that. Now let us proceed. Where is it? Okay. So we proceed just taking you through what is happening actually. For logging in, we don't have to be an admin to log in. So we just, for you to get your own profile, you have to be authenticated. For login, you don't need protect. These are the routes that are not protected, the only routes that are not protected. So all of these, they translate to the front end, and I should be able to show you from the back end, you land into api.js in the service folder. And in there, a lot is happening. A lot is happening, and you have the API. So API URL, we wrap it using Axios so that we can be able to initiate that. We put interceptors. So we add the auth token to the request. So this is an interceptor. Then to handle the auth errors, same case interceptors, then the auth API. We have that in place. After having the auth API, this repo, you can be able to find it. People are sharing it. We have it on WhatsApp. We have it on the chats. Please find it there. We have the books API, and then we have the user API. As you can see, they are flowing. We have the transaction API. So we are dealing with like four kinds of API endpoints. All of these endpoints have been detailed here in the README. We have all of these endpoints detailed here in the README, as you can see. So after landing there, you can proceed now and have your context, the authentication context, to make sure that you can be able to log in even using the tokens. You can access the pages that needs to be accessed for the login. You can see profile, register, and so on and so forth. The UI is not an issue. We have the components. We have a loading spinner, whereby when you're logging in, you can be able to see that load spinner is there. It's just a component to be reused. We have a main.jsx file which it converges everything. I'm using Tailwind version 3.4.17. That's why I'm having Tailwind config. Specifically, this is what I wanted, by the way, so that I'll be able to help everyone. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll just use the other one. So, and of course, we're using concurrent terminal so that we are able to see something like that. So let us see if this issue is being resolved or not. Okay, I don't know what is wrong. Okay, I'm going to resolve that issue later on. Let me just add the book, that the very funny name. But the point is, I'm going to resolve that issue. I don't know where the issue is. So the admin is able to create a book. You can check the details. You can be able to edit or update. So when you, after creating, you can be able to update, not create. So when you go back as a normal user, let us see. So this is a normal user, and you can be able to see the available book that we just created right now. So no books has been issued to this particular person. You can see that book is here. So I can click you can check on the database as well for the books, refresh. We have the book here created, no transaction. So let us try and request this book. So when you click request, You can check one transaction, one pending. So when you go back here and try to refresh the transaction, you can check it is pending. But that book, when you refresh, okay, we don't have anything here yet, but the user just requested. Okay, let us check something else. So this user has requested the book. Let us try log out. Let us try and log out. Admin 123 and go and see what kind of book has been the transaction that we have lately. So I have an option to approve or reject. I can even try to just delete this transaction if I want to. So you can do it here if you want to, or you can open an interface and do it while here. You see? So you can check everything that you need to check about the book, the details and everything. Check the dashboard and everything. So the dashboard for the user is different from the dashboard of the admin. So we come, except I'm seeing something here that is not syncing well, but I'm going to check that later on. So I can decide to open here and click approve. So when you approve, let us try and log in as another user. Let's try and log in as another user in a different sector. Okay, let us open it. Localhost. Port 5173. Uh, so here we are. So you can see the transaction is no longer pending. So let us check that transaction and see what is happening because we have that book with us. Hold on. So transaction, as you can see here, it is approved. You see, it is approved. These are not working. So it is approved. And let us try and see if we can go to return the book. So you can see it is approved. Okay, these are not working. I'm going to see how. Okay, so let us proceed and see what else we can able to do for this. So it has been approved. You see, so I can come here and try to approve, like to mark it as returned, but we don't have that interface. We can manage the user. We can delete a particular user if you want to. We can review a particular user. So these are models. For those who don't understand these pop-ups, they are called model. Model of this model, not model, model. They are called models. You can delete a particular user. Uh, yeah. Okay. Anyway, let us see. Let us see. Hold on. There's a feature that I want to be happening as I'm doing something here. Okay, anyway, forget about that. Let us take a look at what we have not covered, which is the basic thing that we need to cover right now. Let me just pull it up. I have it somewhere here. The testing that I want to implement. Amazing. Now we have it in place. So we come back here. Let me see some question. People are asking questions here. Yeah, it is Redmi. Or you can say Redmi. Anyway, let us proceed. Allow me to continue. Yeah, you can use it for any app authorization. Just need to remove the statics. Now, as far as LMS with library management system is concerned, let us create a couple of folders. So on the back end, just go and proceed and create tests folder. In there, we want to do a setup. So we need a setup.js file. We need another file which is called, let me see. We need another file which is auth. So setup is different from the other one. So setup is going to set up everything. We have auth.test.js. We have books.test.js. And then we have another one which is can say transactions.test.js. Okay, we're in business now. Now, that is for that, right? That is for that. Later on, we are going to see how to configure other things as we proceed. But the most important thing, we need to know the process, the entire process. Now, let us create another file, which is the root of the backend, and call it jest, because we're going to use jest.config.js. So after creating these files, you can now proceed and go to the backend. So let's just do it here on the terminal for this. So we go to the backend, and in the backend, you're going to use npm install. Today, I'm not using npm. So I'm going to put them on the development or as development dependencies, self-dev. So I'm putting them here under this bracket, which means when you push it to production, we are not going to be using them. So testing, make sure if you're dealing with testing, anything installed, make sure you have this flag, which is self-dev. After that, let us install Jest. We also need super test. There's another one for MongoDB, which is called MongoDB memory server. Memory, and then server. And then we have another one which is called cross environment. If you want to, but it's not a must, but cross env. So after having this, let us click install. So just super test, MongoDB memory server, and optionally you can have cross env. So allow it to finish. So as it continues, let's create corresponding files on the front end side. So on the front end, we are going to do it differently. So under src folder, create another folder, quality underscore test. That's how we do it with the test underscore. And then inside that folder, create setup.js, create another file, call it login. So you need to test the login.test.jsx. Create another file which is called book. I think this one should be correctly. just to use what I've been using, capital L. Then we can have another one which is books.test.gsx. So this is where we test the components and the pages. And then you can have another one which is, we can call it, let us call it dashboard. Okay, you only use a file that you want to test. It's not a must for you to test everything. I'm just showing you, you can test the login functionality, the book functionality, and also the dashboard functionality. You can test them. And as you can see, they are in different colors, not the one like we normally have here. So for that one, we are done. So we have to verify. Here they are. Cross-Inva, Jest, MongoDB Memory Server, NodeMon Supertest. We're done. So we go back, CD frontend. Same case, we install under developer dependencies. So npm install save dev. But we are going to install a different one. Because we are running under Vite, frontend is running under Vite, we are going to use something called Vitest. So that's a tool that we can able to use called Vitest. So come and say Vitest. And then we have our testing library. So testing library under React. Under React. And then we can have also testing library. It has a child which is just DOM. I told you about that. So testing library under what? Just DOM. Then we have another one which is under user event. So testing library. We have it under what? No, it's testing. We have it under user. We have it under user event. And then, of course, at the end, we have, this is user event, and then we have JS DOM. So, Vitest, testing library, React, testing library, just DOM, testing library, user event, then JS DOM. After that, let us install it as we wait. As we wait for it to install, what needs to be installed, let us proceed. Let us go for the backend. You see, under this file called justconfig.js, we are going to put the config that what you're targeting, by the way. So if you don't actually know how to put this one, you can just go to ChatGPT. You can go to ChatGPT and ask what. So you can come and say, give me just.config.js. For me, I've forgotten how to write it, but anyway, they're online. So it's going to give me everything that I need. But it's overdoing. Okay, let me specify backend. Backend. And Express.js. You don't know everything, by the way. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's some things when I don't see them. Yeah, this is now what I was talking about. Very simple. Copy it, come and paste it here. Yeah. The most important thing that you have to understand the testing environment is Node, and then you're supposed to specify. But this one I've not done. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to change this one, which is okay, this one is the test match. So the test match, I'm going to change it because it is not what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to put what I know. So the test file pattern. So what do I want? So I want them root dir directory. I want it from the root directory in navigate. So the root directory we are talking about is backend, not the entire project. Then navigate to test. Then navigate to, you can put two of them. And then you talk about any file that we are going to find there, dot test .js. So that is the testing file pattern that I'm talking about. Let's take a look at, we have another one which is collect coverage. We have denoted that to true. Okay, we have the directory, which is good here. Verbose true. Verbose is going to detail the results, the test results, like expand them. You are going to see exactly what you're doing. That's why I'm talking about verbosity here. And then there's something missing here. Oh, we don't have something. We don't have a file here. It's normally setup file after. Okay, setup file after environment. So what you're talking about here is basically just, but we don't have a setup file here. But we are going to create, don't worry, we are going to create a setup file. We have it already. Yeah, good, we have it. So we want to denote this file exactly where it is. So root directory, test, root directory test. And then we can have something additional, which is slash setup.js. And then we put a comma there. So this one is going to copy, is going to take note of this. This one is different. It's the configuration now. I think with that, we're done. Yeah, we are done because the other things are very simple, but we are not done yet. Because what I'm seeing here is different. It's just trying to, okay, this one says that we pick everything under SRC, but we are not dealing with the SRC here. So let me bring with what I have from here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We're talking about controller, we're talking about routes, middlewares, and when you're saying node modules, we are saying don't cover node modules. Node modules, you're not covering it at all. So we are done. So let us do the setup. The setup, we go quickly. So setup is going to be a bit detailed because, okay, well, this is the code base that we are trying to write now. So first, we are dealing with Mongoose. Let me close these files. They're making my machine struggle. And stop this. Good. Now const mongoose. Let me check my levels, by the way. My CPU are firing right now. Okay, let me keep a close monitor on that. So mongoose. So const mongoose, we just say require mongoose. And then from there, we can have another one, which is now the MongoDB memory library. So come and say const. It's normally what? Mongoose. No, Mongo memory server. That one is coming from where? So require coming from Mongo DB memory server. After that, let us now try to have let us just create a variable which is going to hold data Mongo server. Leave it at that. So it's going to be empty. From there, we can now have, so before all, we want to do before and then after each. Don't worry, everything is going to be clear. Everything is going to be clear enough. Somebody's trying to save something. Okay. Doctor, I'm going to explain. So let us do the before all. We want to do the before all. It is normally before, not before all. So the before all, what you're going to do, we are going to run once before all the tests. So we are going in there, we are going to start the MongoDB server in memory. In memory, the memory that we're talking about is this one. We're not going to rely on our normal MongoDB that we normally have. We're going to retrieve the URI, which is Universal Resource Identifier, then connect the Mongoose to that URI. So this one is going to give us a clean, isolated MongoDB instance just for us to be able to test it. So this one is our MongoDB testing instance that we're going to fire. So how do you fire it? So we come and say async. It's an asynchronous. Whenever you're dealing with the MongoDB, just know it's an asynchronous system. So let us fire up the MongoDB server that we declared there. Then we say await. I'm putting it globally here. I'm putting it globally here because I want to use before, after all, and then after each. That's why I'm going to use it. So that's why I'm doing it globally here, for those who are not understanding. So MongoDB server, this is why I fire up the instance for testing, just to test MongoDB if it works. That's what I'm saying. It's not a must for you every time to actually test it and see if it is working. So Mongo URI. In there, we're going to call Mongo server. So Mongo server dot, we're trying to say get URI. This get URI here, that one. So it's going to fetch it. After fetching it, we are going to wait for something to happen. What exactly? Wait for the connection to be established. So mongoose.connect. And then we are connecting to what? To Mongo URI. So this one is going to run before all the tests. That's why we are putting it in the setup. It's going to run before all the tests. Now, how about the after? So after all, or after all, the same thing applies. Async. Come and say, but remember, testing is not a must. The one that we're doing is for only enterprise project that we're talking about. So Mongoose. So here I'm trying to disconnect. So after all the test is done, we disconnect, of course. And then we wait for something else. We wait for the Mongo, like for this entire thing to stop. So we come and say, Mongo server is supposed to stop. So it is going to call an instance for stopping. So this is after everything is done. Now, after each. So after each, what are we talking about? So after each, you're going to loop after to loop through all. For example, you're talking about users, talking about books and transactions. You're going to be looping. It's going to be running at every instance. And then let us have that. And then you're going to say const collection. We are assuming just generally the collection in the database, they are called collection. Then let us have the mongoose and call up the connection. And then call up the collections that we have in the database. Then we're going to run through a loop. So this loop is going to perform a key value pair, which is const key in what? In collection. So it's going to pick up the unique something that is unique to iterate all through. Then from there, we are going to just denote that by deleting everything. So after each instance, we are able to delete each document in each collection. That's what I'm trying to put here. So collection, talking about key, and let us delete. So delete many, but they are in that format, right? Close this one. So that's just the basic setup. We are going to look through all the collection, delete all documents. This one ensures that each test starts with a clean slate. This one here. When you're trying to test book, delete everything that we have for book first. But remember what we are talking about. We're talking about an instance that runs on where? Runs on this isolated environment. Now, that is done for the setup. Let us now do actual testing, writing testing. We want to do the actual testing. It's gonna be long, but at some point I might just copy Allow me to copy because I have many. They are long. Test cases are long. But let me try. So const request. Some people want me to type everything, you see? But for me, I don't want to type everything. Don't know why. So allow me just to copy and paste. It is loading here. Okay, it is not that long. It's not that long. We have already done this. But don't worry, I'm going to explain. People are saying describe this, describe it, expect, describe this, expect, describe, expect. Now, this one is a test suite breakdown that I want to give. So first of all, we start with the super test. So super test you're going to be using. So super test allows you to send mock HTTP request to your Express server without running the live server. So we don't need to run like this Express, like npm start or anything. It's going to just send mock. So this one is perfect for like what you're doing right now, which is integration testing for our REST API backend. You see? Yeah. So let us proceed. I'm seeing your question now. We are calling this, and then you're going to be calling this. So where is this coming from? This one is going to come from where? I can even call it. It is coming from server.js. So we already have this one fired up here. And we have server here, which is already here. So we just need to import it. That's what you're seeing me doing here. Now, request app, as you have known, allows you to make request the Express app, which you are running on the backend. But the app itself is the Express application that we have fired up in server.js. Now, what are these describe auth endpoints? Let us start from there. So this is the main test group for all authentication related tests. So we are saying describe, so auth endpoints. So it is not one. We have how many? We have for the post, and then we have another one which is for login. So all of them are wrapped around that. Now let us go for the post. So when you say describe, we want to group, this is a group of tests for user authentication on endpoint. That is what we are doing here. But I'm going to show you in a bit. Now, when you go down and say it, so the goal here is to check if the register endpoint correctly registers a user. That's the goal of testing, by the way. You're trying to see, can I be able to register a user in the current setup? So we call up that API endpoint and try to test it via what? Super test, which is going to allow us to do that. So we try, we say it, so should register a new user. So we say the data that we are taking from the user is John, John at test, username, password. That is what we need when we register, by the way. You see, that is what we need. So we define the sample user data. This is the sample user data, or you can say mock data. You see, and then you come and say, let us send a post request. What you're seeing here. Send a post request with the user, with that user data that we are having, and expect what? Expect 201. Status 201, which means created, successfully created. Now, here are the sessions. Here are the sessions that I'm giving. We have to respond. The response contains a token, number one. The email matches the one submitted. You see? And the other one is that we're talking about password is not exposed in the response. So we are expecting this to happen. As you can see, expect response body not to have a property password. When you're responding, don't respond to the password for the user. Never do that. And then expect the email to be the user email. As you can see, it is just pure English. And then expect the body or the data to have the token, have a property token. So this is a security best practice. The test confirms that the passwords are not returned in an API response. That's why, in the first place, I told you, when dealing with testing, do not push anything to production. What you're seeing is developer dependencies, such that your test cases, like I said in the morning, they usually, what do you say, bring out the nakedness of your system. So when you push this one and say, let me put the test there to GitHub for other people to see it, that's how you breach yourself, because you just give the entire architecture of how it is. Now, that one, it should, but what should not happen? So, should not register user with invalid email. So here we are saying, basically, the goal is to register a user, is to ensure a registered user cannot log in, or you can say can log in successfully. But before we go there, what I'm talking about 925 is we want to ensure that validation catches bad emails. So how do you catch a bad email? How do you catch a bad email? Because we have to put that in place. So we want to use an invalid email format. For example, as you can see, a valid email format has the @ and the domain part. Now, this is an email that you're giving. So let us catch it and make sure that we give error 400, which is bad request. That is what we are trying to put here across. So this is the data that you are passing that should not go through. And then if that happens, please just throw this data, throw this error. That is for testing, which means it is going to show you that this app API auth register is well coded such that it can be able to catch up bad emails. Proceeding. Now, under this describe is for login. So this is a group of tests. Remember, this one is self, it until here. This is a test, and then this one is a test. So they are grouped under a keyword called describe. So they are grouped together. So same case when you come here. So describe, we are talking about post API auth login. What you're saying here is that this is a group of tests for user login endpoints. So we start with the first one. So should log in with valid credentials. So the goal is to make sure that a registered user can log in successfully. So first register a user. We first register a user because remember, we have done the after each. So after each is going to delete. So after deleting, when you come back here, please just try to recreate again. So here you come and say, register the user first because it's already deleted. After registering, try to log in under the same circumstance. So how do you log in? This we have already done. So how do you log in? We call that API for login, and then we inject what? We inject the email and the password and expect status code 200, which is successful logging in. Now, assertion. So expect the body to have the token. Of course, for you to log in, expect the body to have a token. Number one. Number two, expect the body to have an email. So the user data body.email to be the user data.email. That dummy email that you're talking about. So user data.email. So body, this is an actual body. This is a mock body for the email. Are we together? Now proceeding. This is just a simulation. And then these are the assertions that you're giving, like the rules. So response has to have the token and the email returned match the registered email. So the registered email that we gave here has to be what we are dealing with now here. So that is for the user authentication. Very simple, straightforward. Should not register user with invalid email. This custom property or what? Somebody saying should not register user with invalid email. You're talking about this one. So this is where you prevent. So if I wanted for it to be complicated, I will have regular expression here. So the purpose for testing is not to correct, but to catch these mistakes before you go to production. So this is just an invalid email. I can put anything here. I can put anything. Right now, I'm just saying invalid email as the input, dummy input or mock input. But I can put anything that doesn't follow what needs to be followed. So I can have a regular expression and say, if it is not in this way, please just give us a bad request. Proceeding. Now let us take a look at another one. That is for auth. Let us take a look at book. So the book, very simple as well. We have admin token, user token, admin user, regular user. Here we are bringing things from, extending things now. Line 42, somebody saying line 42. Oh, you're saying it should, let me follow exactly what you're saying, should. But what you said there is not line 42. It is line 25. Okay, line 42, you're saying that it should log in with valid credentials. Valid credentials. You don't understand what you're saying. Iterate on what you're saying exactly as I proceed. Now, when we talk about tests, when we talk about tests on the book side, of course, you're using jest. That is what you're saying because we have a setup already set up there. Now, the dependencies, exactly what you're seeing here. The generate token function that is coming from this file. And then we have the user model, the Express app, and the super test. So what you're seeing here, we are saying, of course, the scribe already explained that. So before each, what am I trying to say here? So this one is going to create admin user and a regular user in the admin before each test. So we are creating admin user before each test. So before each, then we have an admin token generated from the admin user. Then we create a regular user, give them the token from the regular user ID. Oh, okay. I think I know what you're asking now. If that, is it a property or what? Is that what you're asking? Confirm? Ah, amazing. Now I understand you. You see, when you bring other questions that I don't understand, I'm wondering now, what are you trying to say? Any other question? You see, my keyboard just hung. I don't know why. Oh, it's now working. Good. Okay, let me now explain. Sorry, I had my system work off. Now, the string that you're seeing there, for example, let us go back here. Where is it? The auth. People are asking, is this a custom property or just comment? Now, the string that you're seeing there is not a custom property. Let us start from there. So this is just a mere description. You see, this is just a mere description, whereby like just uses for test cases. So it is passed as the first argument. So this argument can be anything. You can even put your name there. So the it that you're seeing there, so it, these are just global function that we normally see that is used to define the test case. But the logic inside there is what matters. Now, that's, for example, the one that I've highlighted, should log in with a valid credential. Now, that one is a human readable label that describing what this test is verifying. So you can put anything there. But the real stuff is whereby you start from the async, that function, the async synchronous function, the test function that contains the actual assertion logic. Assertion and logic. So this one is the logic that you're seeing here, and then you have the assertion. I think that one clears the air. This one is just here to explain what you're trying to test, for other people to understand what you're testing. Are we together? Nice. Okay, let us proceed. Let us proceed. Now, where are we? So we are in the before each, I think. So before each, remember the reason why I'm saying before each here, let me just take you back in the setup, is that we are deleting after every iteration, after every test, we are deleting. Yeah. So when you go back here, we create that. So why are we doing this? So you need valid users in the database to test the authentication and authorization. Yeah, you need that, number one. So the admin token and the user token are generated from the logged in user. That's why we are taking it from the database direct. So the role-based is set. We are going to see how to set the role-based down here. But as you can see, the role-based, we have user, we have admin. We are setting it. Remember, this schema is directly what we have in the actual code base. So this is very crucial for authorization logic. Now let us start, after declaring this before each and everything, let us now go and see the group of tests that we have. So number one, just getting all the books. So we fetch all the books and say, get all the books, set authorization, bearer, then user token. You see, we have user token. I'm not saying admin, so it matters who access what. It matters a lot. So that one, in this case, we can fetch all the books. A user, so should get all the books for any authenticated user, any. So which means you can be a user or admin. So that's why we're putting here user token. Otherwise, for only admin, we can just say bearer, then we come and take admin token. Right now, we are not using, remember we're generating the token, so it's already generated for us. We just, this is just a matter of attaching to who. This token is attached to who? To the admin user or the regular user together. Now, give an assertion whereby what you're saying here is that very simple. What you're saying here, anybody check? So the assertion that we're expecting here, so of course we're expecting 200. This is the purpose for like that any authenticated user, not just admin, can view all the books. And then we have an assertion here whereby the books should be in an array. They should be in an array format because one book is in an object format. Let me just show you. Let me just bring it here. So when you go back to library management, go to the books. This book is in an array, it's an object. So when it's an object, if it is one book, you can put it like this. But if it is many books, the only way you can have documents together is in an array format. That is what I'm trying to say here. And then we have another one, which is, should allow admin to create the book, only admins. So you create a dummy book, and come and say, let us now post that book, but we are supposed to only allow that for the admin. So we call the admin via their token, book data, then if it is success, 200. Assertions are, we also need the title to be the book title. We need the book author to be our book data author. So we are telling what is supposed to happen, let it be from the dummy data that we have. So book data dot title, this is what you're saying, book data here dot title. So parent child. Proceeding. We come and see, we have another one which is, where is it? Here it is. Should deny regular users from creating the book. This is why you just come and change this one and put it as user. That's the only thing that you change, then forbidden, authorization forbidden. So this one you can have the entire data. You can just pull up the entire data here, copy, and come and put it here. Makes no change, but just have some data here and say, only this API for creating the books, only the admin. So you deny that. So by throwing this, very simple. Now, that's now something that is more of a dilemma. When you write wrong test cases, then you want to. Now, that is a debugging promax. You see, test cases are supposed to make sure that your data passes. Let it just be logical, but please don't write wrong test cases, but you're going to debug that as well. But make sure you don't write wrong test cases and then they pass, and then you say, my code is okay. Let me now pass it and say, okay, everything is fine. Let us proceed and push it to production. It's going to be a very big disease. Now, let us do another one. Let's do another one. So that is book test. I want us to do another one, which is transaction. Or I can do transaction or not, but it's not a must. It's not a must I do transaction because I pick what I want to test. I pick what I want to test. So let us leave transaction because of time. Let us go for the front end. And then don't worry, we are going to run the tests. We are going to be running all these tests. Don't worry. So we are going to the front end. We go to that folder. But first of all, we need a file. We need a file called vitest.config.js. This one I'm just going to copy because AI is going to give me gibberish now. This is what I'm talking about. Of course, we use the plugin from React, and then this is what we have just installed. So we are saying that this is what we are targeting. Same case like what we have done here for the setup, for the just config. This is just a setup file to target. What are we targeting? Exact what files? I don't want to test everything. I want to test particular files. This one is supposed to be in the home. So I want to target specific files for testing, not everything. So this is why I'm saying setup files are in the test setup. So that's what I'm targeting. So when I come here, I should come here and put some files. So this is the same thing for as we did in the other one, except we are doing it differently on the front end. So after each cleanup, the mock intersection observers. We have the mock intersection observers. Just allow me to explain what exactly is happening here so that we don't get confused in the process. Just allow me. So we have the mock intersection observers. Then we have the mock window, which is going with the match media and everything. Now, we start first with importing this library. So this one extends the except with the extra direct matches. This one, the first one. So for example, you remember what we are talking about here. You remember what we're talking about here? Expect, so extends this one. But now it doesn't do this way. It does it on the front end aspect, in the DOM aspect. So you target the DOM. Where is it? So such that when you say expect, instead of saying expect REST data, you come and say expect button to be so and so. That is what I'm talking about. So this one is going to enable human readable assertions for React components. We are going to see that in a short while, by the way, how they interact. Now we have the import cleanup, we have the React and everything after each. So we clean up, we unmount. So this one goes hand in hand with the use effect. We are going to unmount React trees between tests to avoid cross-test contamination. A lot of English there, but please understand me. Because when you mount, when dealing with React, we're dealing with DOM tree. So it's a tree that has a lot of branches. So we are supposed to be unmounting. Somebody is saying, are we testing all files? We are not testing all the files, by the way. We are not testing all the files. I'm picking the files that I want to test. We are done with the backend, only testing the authentication and the books. And then for the front end, I want to pick what I want to test. Let me just explain. Now, the mock interceptors, what are they exactly? But before that, what is V1? You're seeing a lot of V1 FN. Somebody is wondering, are you talking about Rust? Because in Rust, this is how they call their function, FN. So V1, it is the lightest version of jest function. So this one is used to create mock spies and everything. So V1, this is not V1, VI, sorry. It's the version, even if I adjust over here, you can be able to see. So creates a spy on a function, though it can be initiated without one. Now, let's proceed. So mock, we're talking about mock intersection observer. So intersection observer is a browser API, by the way. This one is a browser API used for lazy loading. If you don't know about lazy loading, go and search that. Lazy loading and animations. So it is not implemented in Node.js entirely. This one is not implemented in Node.js. So the test that we are writing, they're using the components with this API. So if you want to use it, like I'm saying, it is not implemented in Node.js. So tests using components with this API will break. Now, this mock ensures that your components that you're building there rely on intersection observer and don't throw errors during the testing, basically. Now, proceeding, that's why we have another one, which is match window. So we're saying this one like match media. What is exactly match media? So match media is, I can say, used in responsive UI behavior. For example, you've heard of media query a lot. You've heard about theming, like dark mode detection, light mode detection, and everything. So again, it is not available in the test environment. So this one is just here, like this one prevents match media. This prevents match media. It's not a function, errors when rendering the components that check media query, basically. So that is very simple. I am not going to explain everything that is happening here. I've just summarized everything. So disconnect, observe, and observe, go for this one and so on. Now, test cases are not a must. The code base that I already shared with you, that is enough. This one, you can recreate it however you want. I'm just doing it in the style that I know, you see? So let us go for the login. Authorization was already done, by the way, in the back end. You come and do authorization, how I did it here, by the way. It is on the middleware. Here it is. If you want the code for authorization, come here. You protect the route, then you come and put the admin, then you come and put the GWT. After that, you can go and see the controller. We have done that, but when you go for the auth, you can able to see, for example, the book authorization, who is authorized to do what. You can go to see how to do that. So it's not on the test cases or anything. It is not in the test cases or anything. Please. Test cases cannot affect your code base. That's why they're not supposed to actually bother you. I'm seeing people bothered here. Don't bother. This is just test cases. Now log in. Just to brush through faster as we move along. Log in. Okay. A lot of lines, but don't worry. Don't worry. Now, we are going to use three things here, like the mock API library or API module to isolate the control behavior. We are going to use vytest for mocking and assertion test control. This is just like jest for the backend. We are going to be using React test library. Now, we are trying to test the component, the login component, if it renders correctly, number one. Number two, shows validation messages on invalid inputs. Yeah, if you're supposed to put number and then we put a string where you're supposed to put number, we're supposed to get validation messages, submit and call the API correctly when input is valid. So what are you seeing here? These are just inputs. We have render screen, fire event, wait for. All of these tools, they are from React testing library, RTL, you can say. So they're here to interact with the system and inspect the components, basically. VI, I've already said about that. Vytest mocking utility is just a function, just like saying this one. VI, by the way, if you don't know, VI is just like saying when you say VI, it's just like mocking, bringing a mock and say, not equals, but I'm trying to say, you see the backend you just call this, that is VI by the not just config by this, just saying jest.fn. It's just a utility function from the backend that we are trying to use. For those who don't understand. That's why you're going to see a lot of similarities. For example, this is what I was talking about. This is why VI is being used now. We have login component and the test and everything. This one. So when you're testing a page, you're supposed to call that page. Yeah, you're supposed to call. Otherwise, what are we testing if it is not login? You cannot say I'm testing login and then I'm coming here, I'm trying to see where is the login that you're trying to test. It's not there. And then we're testing also the authentication. So we call the auth provider. So this one is needed if login. If you're trying to log in, and we're going to use the use context for authentication. So we come back and say, let us take a look at the mock. How do we mock the authentication API? So this one here is going to mock the auth API for this login. So this is a parent, this is a child. And this one is going to take directly from the backend, but not entirely in that essence. So this function, auth_API.login function, so you can go to do the following. Maybe avoid real API request. So it's going to pick the super test from the backend to avoid the API requests, the real API request. Number two, we are going to control the return, what it returns during test, because we've already done that on the backend. Now, when you come here, this is a helper. This is a helper whereby we have the browser router and everything. So this one is just a helper that we are having here. So this one is going to wrap in the login with the required context provider. We have the required context provider, which is auth provider, and also we have the routing. Routing, we have the browser router. So this one is there to ensure the component behaves exactly like the real app. So where do you find something like this? When you come to app.jsx, not there, it is here. But we have another one in app.jsx. Let me just bring it up. You can see auth provider. And then this auth provider, we have app. So when you come at the end of the day, where is it? Come at the end of the day, there are apps there, but the auth provider, we have the browser router. You can see. So it is going to behave exactly like the real application. So proceeding. Now, where are the test cases? So V1, of course, as you can see, describe is here, also the backend describe as it. Why? The jest is in play. This is the function of this guy. But you're going to see more into that. Now, of course, the same thing. So for this one, it's just a matter of rendering. Front end is just a matter of rendering. We are rendering. We are not trying to perform the logic. The purpose is to render. And we're rendering what? Login with providers. So we call that because it is wrapping out everything that we need. So when you call that, we say expect the screen get by label text. So expecting the email to be in the document, we're expecting the password to be in the document. The document that we're talking about is DOM. So get by role. We're expecting the button. We have the name sign in to be in the document. You see? So that one is the first test. So renders login form. Number two, show validation errors with empty fields. This is how you do it. So you come and say submit button. You come and say screen get by role admin, get by role button, then name sign in. Then you're going to use the fire. So let me explain what is happening basically from start here. What you're seeing here in line 26 is going to check that input fields and the buttons are visible. So visibility, when you're rendering, we are trying to see. You're not going to say, I've built a very beautiful UI and we cannot be able to see that UI. So visibility. So it uses accessible roles and labels. When talking about roles here, I'm not talking about admin or what. So accessible roles and labels. For example, how do you make sure that something is there? For example, you have the area label, placeholder, and so on. Number two, we want to check. So this one is just the same thing applies for the others. So how do you make sure that this is happening? No. We want to simulate the form submission without the input. That's why we're using the fire event. But we have another one which we call the wait for. So a wait for is used in the case where validation errors are rendered asynchronously. Okay, you can say e.g. the set state. So we get that here. We are trying to submit we are trying to fire the fire event is going to help us submit without any inputs. Proceeding, submit the form with valid data. So submitting a form with valid data, so we have a mock data that is there successfully. And then you're going to fill that for the valid form and then try to push it. So we fire. And then after that, we are going to put some assertions. Some assertions they are here, by the way. So this asserts that the API was called with correct payload. I know it's hard to take in, but don't stress much about it. I'm just taking you through because it is in the curriculum. And I was the one who actually had it there. But it's important for you to understand all of this. Now let's take a look at the book and then forget about the dashboard. Let us take a look at the book. For the book, same thing applies. We call everything mock data for the book API, mock authentication context. Same things. So browser. So when you're seeing browser router, this is just for routing, navigation. Navigation basically. And then we have everything that I've been talking about. You inject data, mock data, then you render it, then you put some assertion. Same thing applies, by the way. Let me see what I'm left with, because we don't have much left. We don't have much left. Now, remember debugging is constant. Just make sure for you to avoid debugging, I don't know what to say. For you to avoid debugging, just make sure that you write correct code bases. Okay, there's a way you can able to just create a configuration, a debugging configuration that you can able to do. It works on VS Code. But some people don't like VS Code, I know. Yeah, but some people don't like VS Code. But just allow me to put some of the things here. We have another one called VS Code, launch your JSON. Uh, we have another one called here backend for the same. Then let us go on the backend and try to configure and see if we can be able to run these things. So this is how we configure it. Okay, we already have this and this. So let us add a few things, which is for testing. So we come and say test, test. Remember the cross CMP that I installed? I was not planning to test this one, but anyway. Then you come and say test just like that. So when you run npm run test is going to do that. Let us have the same thing but in a watch environment. So let me copy this one. But I want it in a watch environment. So how do you put in a watch? So you come and say test watch. And then you can come and say, then you put a flag for watching. Like you're going to be seeing it in real time. And then you can come and say, we can have the same thing as well, but in a coverage mode. Like just to do a coverage mode. Coverage. Coverage. Yeah, I think that's it. Let us do for the front end and then you can go to see what is going to happen. So same thing, come down here and then put the test. So in here, I'm just going to call void test. When you call void test, it's going to just same thing as this one. When you run npm run dev, it's going to call void. When you run npm run test, it's going to call it. We can have another one which is test UI. Let us test the UI. So to test the UI, we call the void test. Then we call void test, void test. I think we have a flag for UI here. Yeah, we have a flag for UI. We can test coverage. So what do we have here? So we just come and say void test. What is it doing with the so void test run coverage? I guess I don't know. You're going to find out if I've forgotten. Yeah. So whenever I run npm test, it's going to run everything for the backend. So when I come here, let us see. So this is the front end. Let us run the backend. Start with the backend. So when you come and run cd backend, let us see if you have been wasting our time. But I'm very sure I made some mistake there. So npm test. There you go. So one test case failed. Don't know what is it. So I denoted to have verbosity. This is what I have. So 3 failed. So 3 subtests, 6 failed. Okay. I told you I made a mistake. So where do you make mistakes? So this one, they work very well, but I have issues here. It's a good thing even if I fail, you can see it is pointing. Why am I being pointed something here? Let me show you why. Don't know if I have it here. This verbose. Detailed test results. This is what I was talking about. I told you I'm going to be having issues. Yeah, a lot of issues. Actually, it's in the test case. You see, Isaac, you spoke and it is happening. I'm having errors in my test cases. I'm having errors in my test cases, and actually, it's a common error. It is a common error. It is a common error. Let me see where I went wrong because I'm very sure I know why. You spoke and it happened. So you're talking about which file? Actually, setup, I think. Yeah, I know. I can see the error. This is the error. This is the exact error that I'm talking about because I wrote something different and I'm calling something different. So go back here, go here, but I'm okay. This is the exact error that I'm getting. Okay, let me change. Mongo URI. I guess so. Okay, let us run it again. Okay, fail again. Uh, so it's saying can't open because the connection is indifferent. Okay, I think I have another connection here. Let me, but I don't have. Somebody is cursing. Who is cursing something there? So we have two errors. We have here in the book test, line 2. Mhm. Okay. Okay. Let's just leave it at that. I don't know where I'm going wrong. This error is very big and I'm trying to resolve it. I saw the error here. They're telling me connect doesn't work. Oh, we have people who have ideas. Debugging is constant. I was just talking about this thing, man. Okay. You know what's happening. I know where the error is. I'm seeing the error, but I'm not able to solve the error. Okay. The main problem that we are experiencing is not that you have not written it correctly. It is correct, but it is not able to open Mongo URI. This one is not able to open this guy. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, where did you do the connection? We did it here. This is where we did. We actually did it there. Debugging is constant. I know where the issue is. The main problem is that we are trying to fire up a fake HTTP and yet we have another one that is outside. So let me just try and separate it. Let me have it as index.js and then come and say const mongoose. So let me separate it. That's the main reason. It cannot work in the same environment. Require mongoose. And then you can come and say something like, I'm doing index because it's a barrel file. So const.env require .env. Then comes some .env.config. Some method. Then I can now decide to call that file. So const, let's call that app. Then we call server. Let us run it differently. Then so require uh, are we calling it? Yeah, server. So let us start the port. So this port is process.env normally .port. And if we have we need a fallback, we can just put 5,000. Then you can bring now that file, that connectivity, just remove it from there and have it here. Mhm. Then I think inside here, uh-huh, not there, it is here. No, yeah. So now I don't need to import. So this is just enough because the server is now listening. But how do we make sure that it is actually touched? Because you have done that, you have removed it. Yep. So let me modify this because I've done something. I want it to detect open handles. So when I go to the backend, when we're trying to to say test, I want to have a flag here which is detect open handles. Unless, okay, I don't know if I've done the correct thing, but ah, another issue. Well, ah, it reminds me when I was building my gaming engine, I had like 129 test cases across the entire system, and only one of them was not able to run. So I was so disturbed. Oh, we are not going to, we are not eating 3 hours today. We are not eating 3 hours today. I can tell you for free. Now, this request that we are getting here, I guess I'm wrong by there, but by just importing this guy, this line 2. Okay, let me go into the server.js and see. Let me remove this guy, then just import, export, say server. And then in here, I'm just going to say server. So when I, instead of calling up, let me just F2 and replace it with server across the entire system. Good. Go for this one. F2, replace it. That one should treat my disease. It's all a matter of HTTP calls. Okay, if it is not going to work, I'm going to leave it now. Okay, that one worked. Actually, one test case passed. It passed where, yeah, the book passed. This one, only one test case didn't pass. So out of 6, only one. Yeah, out of 6, only one failed. I'm making progress. Out of 6, only one failed. Now, that is expect 400, bad request. I think I know where the issue is. I'm supposed to have a regular expression, and I said that, by the way. I don't know why I ignored my own advice. I'm supposed to have so that I can go to test this guy. You see inside here? Inside here, I need a regular expression, a regex. I need a regular expression for the email. So when you come here for the email, let us see. You see here, I was trying to say about trim. I need something extra and say match so that it can be invalid. How can I be saying that is invalid yet I don't have a regular expression? So allow me to fetch a regular expression from somewhere here where I have it. So in here, I'm going to have that guy. So having this, you can see we have at, then this one is going to qualify as invalid email format. Otherwise, this is the otherwise. So I think that one is going to suffice. Yeah, I saw this coming. Okay, let us see. Here we go. Please work. You need prayers. We have another problem. Okay, I think we are not supposed to put it there. So let me put it somewhere where it's supposed to be. So copy that guy, remove that line. Let us go for the controllers. Now, when you go for the controllers, we have the auth. Now we go for the register. So you see where we are saying if email, if what, if what, if what. Where is it? We can come here and say Before we create a user, where is it? Yeah, here it is. So we can come and say if, I come and say email, if the email is not or email dot match, then you can put our regular expression. Then you can come and say return what exactly the response status code 400 with a JSON saying what message invalid email format. I think that one should suffice. To put it in logic. Good, good. Okay. All test case passed except what? Now, what again, man? Your test suite must contain at least one test. Okay, okay. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. We have not done for transaction. And here, what I said, I've not done for transaction. And in here for just, actually I mentioned transaction. Where is it? Oh, it is running everything inside here. So let me remove this guy. Remove you. Because we have not done for that. So it is running everything under there. Okay, everything passed. Yeah, everything passed. Good. Let us take a look on the front end. So front end. You see, it's always a joy when the system works. So we come and say npm test. Zero passed, one failed, two failed, blah, blah, blah. So we have an issue as well here. This is interesting, man. This is interesting. So we have some test cases that are failing, others are passing. This one is big, man. So we have one failing, four pass. And the exact issue is where here. Okay, let us minimize the radius and be specific. So when I come here, let me run it in a big terminal. So I just need to say, what? Oh, no, no, no. I didn't put actually here. I did not put a place whereby they can be able to run all of them. Okay, we're almost done, people. Remember, testing can be boring, or this is why people don't like testing in their code bases. Because the frustration, man, let's test, reduce the coverage and say npm run test, but we want to run the UI coverage. Do you want to install? Yeah. I want to test coverage by coverage, and then we can be able to see what we can be able to do. So, okay. Actually, it is pulling up the UI. Let me show you the UI. This is the UI. This is the UI. It is going to bring every test cases on the UI. As you can see, login component failed, render login worked, validation failed, submit worked. So the book passed, but this one failed. So dashboard, actually, let me remove it. Now, where is it? Remove that guy because we're not working with it. So test removed. It is indicating there. So when I refresh, should be able to only see this. So just to see the fail one, only test. So you can be able to come and check exactly where is it failing. You can be able to come and see. You can see. You can see exactly what is happening here. This is the entire report that is giving you. Very long one, actually, depending on the size of your file. Yeah, this one is going to be dependent on the size of the file. But nevertheless, let us see why it is failing. Uh-huh. Where is that login file? Pages. Uh-huh. Think I know why. Uh, People are saying, what am I hiding? I'm going to reveal that secret, not today, but let us see. So this is failing because um, it's the same case as email. Because I didn't actually regulate it and make sure that we are catching the error exactly how it needs to be caught. Uh, we're almost done. It's been a headache, man. Yeah, so what I have changed on the background basically is the validation, manual validation has to be put there. And I can show you have some patches here. But anyway, remember debugging is not, how did you come up with that invalid email? Now, this invalid email that you saw here, let me just bring it back. So I went to the logic and actually add it here so that whenever I come and say invalid, it should be invalid if it doesn't follow this matrix here that you're seeing here. Okay, people, let me answer a few questions, then we are going to call it. When SQL injection is initiated, what part of backend is affected? The schema. Writing the documentation for the code base, do you also write something on the test case? You can do that, but that is not your work. That's because the test is not supposed to go to even to the production side. You just connect MongoDB from index and run server. Yeah. So I separated them so that I can be able to actually run. Actually, this one is not supposed to even be here. This guy is not supposed to be here. It will still work regardless. How did it connect? Okay, it connects. Okay, how can I explain it? This one is a barrel file. And whenever I fire anything inside here, the first entry file is here. The first entry file, this is the entry file, a barrel file. Now, so what did you test? What are the test agenda? Agent or agenda? Okay, I'm not getting it. Or I have paid test cases, but sometimes I've customized mine that are running on the background to help me debug, but it's a paid version. It is not required to do testing. Don't stress yourself, because leave that for the Q&A engineers. Test. Just make sure you write the best code as you need. Okay, I'll not be taking any questions today. Very tired. And let us try to meet on Wednesday, because our time is far much gone. I don't want us to spend 3 hours. The repo, you have it, go through it. I'm going to update what's need to be updated, but before that, let me ignore any test files here. Then I push. Let me ignore any test files. Yep, so they are all ignored. You cannot see them actually. And actually setup.js, also ignore them on all aspects. Let us see. Oh, we have just config. Oh, let me just allow you people to have these test files. Yeah, let me just allow you to have these test files. Then you're going to learn them on your own time. Let me allow you to have them. Yeah, so the changes have been synced. Please take a look at them. Then we are going to communicate. Let us talk next time. Bye-bye.